Hi everybody. We heard you couldn't hear the sound on the first try, so we're going to try it one more time. So welcome to our Bringing the Zoo to You series. My name is Maggie. I'm one of the animal care specialists. And today we're going to be talking about parrots and their really awesome adaptations with their beaks. So with me I have Nicolette and Francine, two of our animal care specialists, and they have with them some of their favorite parrots in our departments. Yeah, you nodding with me, Jasper? Yeah. So Jasper is a major Mitchell's cockatoo. They're found in Australia. And on my right we have Wilson, a golden conure, and they are found in Brazil and other surrounding countries in South America. Oh, I'm doing a little flip. All right, so both of these birds are found in very different parts of the world, but they eat very similar types of food. So in the wild, they eat nuts and seeds, and they also eat fruit. So their beaks are shaped very similarly. So their beaks are like really big nutcrackers attached to their face. So right now we're feeding them some sunflower seeds for reinforcement. So those are really easy for them to crack open, but you can check out the way that their beaks are moving and how they're cracking open their sunflower seeds. So we can crack open sunflower seeds with our teeth. That's really easy for us to do. But they can crack open things like almonds that we would need nutcrackers to open up ourselves, because we can't use our teeth. That would probably damage us. We'd have to take a trip to the dentist. But their beaks are really, really powerful, and they can crack those open super easily. Wilson, he's going to be flapping his wings a lot throughout this entire chat. He's a very excited guy. He vocalizes a lot at Nicolette. That's just kind of how he shows that he's really excited to be here, and most likely saying, "Give me another sunflower seed." So when he does grab onto one, you can check out the way that he uses that to kind of snap it open really fast and manipulate it with his beak, and then he'll just pull that little sunflower seed out with his tongue. So if you tuned in on Friday and watched Paul talk about birds of prey, we discussed how their beaks are adapted for ripping open meat. So they're carnivores. So birds have all sorts of adaptations for using their beaks to eat what they would eat in the wild. So birds of prey use their beaks to rip apart meat, whereas this type of parrot, or this type of bird, uses their beaks for cracking open nuts and seeds. So it's really cool to watch how they use that in the wild. They also use their beaks to move around in their environment. So if Jasper were to move across that branch or be climbing high up in the treetops, he would be using his beak kind of like an extra foot to help him maneuver around. So as I mentioned, Jasper is a major Mitchell's cockatoo. They're a really impressive parrot from Australia. Yeah, you like it when I talk about you like that? So males and females both look like this. Jasper is a male. The females also have this similar coloration. They're bright pink with white on their wings, and then he also has a very brightly colored crest on top of his head, which is laying down. They use that crest for communication. When he gets really excited, he'll put that crest up on top of his head. Are you just going to nod at me? Yeah. So that's another way that he communicates. So throughout this chat, both of these parrots might be vocalizing a little bit. Jasper actually mimics. He can say things that he has learned that we have taught him how to say. Do you think you can get him to vocalize a little bit? He can say peekaboo. He can say night-night. We'll see if he'll do that. He's focusing on me.
Jasper.
So if he doesn't do the behavior, we just don't give him a reinforcement. Jasper. So we ask him to do the behavior, and if he does it, then he gets a reinforcement afterwards. Sometimes he offers up other behaviors, and that's okay. There we go. So he said night-night when Francine gave him the cue, or we put our hand to the side. So that's just some of the training that we do with the birds here. So we talked a little bit about how these birds crack open seeds and nuts with their extremely powerful beaks. Maybe while you're at home, you can take a look out the window and check out some birds in your backyard and see how those birds use their beaks. There's a lot of birds that are native to here in Illinois that use their beaks for a lot of different things. Of course, we have bird feeders in our backyards that are offering a variety of different seeds, so you can check out their different sizes of beaks and shapes and how they might be using those beaks to open up seeds. A lot of birds have specialized beaks for eating insects. You might be familiar with the type of bird that might be knocking on your a tree outside to get insects out of that tree, a woodpecker. So just keep an eye out while you're at home. You've got a lot of really cool birds out in your neighborhood that have all sorts of different shapes of beaks. So parrots are really cool with all their beaks that are really powerful for cracking open seeds and nuts and fruits. So just keep your eyes peeled for things in your neighborhood. Please write in with any questions that you have about our 2 animal ambassador parrots here, and we can answer any of your questions.
So can these parrots fly?
Can these parrots fly? They are flighted. While Jasper is flighted, we do trim his wings for his safety here at the zoo. Wilson, he has some feather loss on his wings due to a past injury, so he cannot fly, but we monitor him for his safety. Other than that, he's a very healthy bird. But Jasper does get regular wing trims, just like you would trim your, if you had a pet bird at home. It doesn't hurt him. It's just like trimming your own nails. So it's a very safe thing to do for your birds.
Is Jasper related to Cookie?
Jasper is the same species of bird as Cookie. So if you're familiar with Cookie, our Major Mitchell's cockatoo, that was our oldest resident at the zoo until a few years ago. Cookie lived to be 83 years old. So Cookie was a very long-lived bird. Jasper right now is... Francine, how old is Jasper?
Jasper is 18 years old.
18 years old. So he is still very young. He's got a really long life ahead of him at the zoo. So parrots can live a very long time. Especially large parrot species like these birds, don't make the best of pets. You might have to write them into your will. They can live for such a long time. But things like parakeets and cockatiels, they can make great additions to your home if you're looking for a pet bird.
Do these 2 parrots speak the same language?
Oh, do they speak the same language? Not necessarily, no, because they're 2 different species. Like I mentioned before, if you're wondering about them mimicking, things like that, these 2 species of parrots both can learn how to mimic. Jasper has learned to mimic things like things that we say. Wilson hasn't learned to pick up on that, but as far as their own species language, they definitely communicate very differently.
So how come the keepers are not wearing gloves? Because they were wearing gloves for the owls.
Oh, on their hands. That's a great question. Well, birds of prey have very sharp talons and very, very strong feet. So we wear that for protection on our hands. So we're not too concerned about parrot feet. We trim their nails so we can freely hold them on our hands, Wilson especially. We handle Jasper on a perch. He prefers to be on a perch and not on a keeper's hands. It's just the way we've trained them. But when we're feeding them, because of their strong beaks, we are very careful when we do that because of their very strong beaks.
Can they blink?
Yes, they can.
What else do they eat besides seeds?
They get a variety of fruit in their diets. In the wild, they would be eating flowers, fruits, buds off of trees, nuts. Here at the zoo, they get a complete pelleted diet. It gives them all the nutrients that they need, and they get kind of like a big salad every day.
How do they take a bath?
Oh, baths are a bird's favorite time of the day. We can use a misting bottle to give them a nice warm bath. We can make a mist with the hose. They put their wings out and they get their whole body wet. The birds are big fans. I think Wilson is probably our biggest fan of getting a bath. He makes a completely different call when he gets a bath. So it's his favorite time of the day. It's very important for them to keep their feathers in tip-top shape. So baths are very important for birds.
How long do they live?
Well, for Major Mitchell's cockatoos, they can live up to 83 years under professional care. They've got great health care here at the zoo, so we expect Jasper to live a nice long life. In the wild, probably around 40 to 50 years. Golden conures, probably around 40 years. They're a shorter-lived species, but they still do have a very long life.
Why does Jasper keep opening up his wings?
That's kind of an excited behavior. He's hoping that I'll come over and interact with him, maybe give him a treat. We try to reinforce behaviors like this where he's really calm, has his wings down. So I think it's more just him asking me to come over.
Can these birds see at night?
These birds would be sleeping at night. So they do best just sitting in a tree and sleeping. So they're diurnal. So they would be sleeping at night and more active during the day. So it would be kind of dangerous for them to try to take flight at night.
Do either of them say hello?
No, hello is not a word that either of them have learned. Jasper is the only one that has picked up on mimicry, and that's not a word in his vocabulary.
Can all parrots talk?
No, not all parrots have picked up on mimicry, no.
And do they shed their feathers?
They do. That's a very good question. They molt. So molting is really important when that's just, so they have their full set of feathers, and when they get in new feathers, they drop a feather and grow in a completely new feather. All right, well, thank you so much for spending your time with us and learning all about our parrots and birds, and thank you so much for supporting Brookfield Zoo. Make sure to tune in Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. every day for Bringing the Zoo to You chats. Stay safe.